Hola y buenos días. Yo soy el señor Morris. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Today, we're going to review the vocabulary that we've been discussing up to now in the unit. We'll talk about the country to our north, and then look at our activity sheets. Pero primero, vamos a cantar nuestra canción de saludos. Canten conmigo. Hola, hola, buenos días, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Todos juntos ya estamos listos para aprender. Muy bien. Well, I tell you what, let's quickly look at the things that we're talking about in this unit, okay? Now, let's see if you can tell me which one this picture indicates. Does this indicate frontera or vecino? Raise your hand, tell your teacher. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Vecino, vecino. Let's try another one. Does this indicate al lado de or país? Al lado de or país? Raise your hand, tell your teacher. Una, dos, tres. Al lado de. Al lado de. ¿Este es un estado o es una frontera? Raise your hand, tell your teacher. Estado, frontera. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Estado. Oh. Now, okay, see the arrow? It's pointing to that imaginary line there? Does that mean frontera or does that mean vecino? Raise your hand, tell your teacher. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Frontera. Es una frontera. You see this yellow stuff right here? This thing that it's pointing to, and there's part of it up here. Oh, and there's a little bit right there. Is this al lado de o país? Which do you think that is? Raise your hand. Tell your teacher. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. País. Es un país. Este es los Estados Unidos de América. Now, we also looked at los puntos cardinales. And these are pretty easy because they're mostly cognates. How about this one up here, pointing in this direction? Empieza con la N. Raise your hand, tell your teacher. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Norte, norte. How about this one, pointing down here? Empieza con la S. Raise your hand and tell your teacher. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Sur, sur. Very good. How about this direction? Empieza con la E, pointing over here. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Este, este. There's one more. This one over here. Empieza con la O, la O. This one's a little bit different. A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Oeste, oeste. We also looked at los puntos intermedios. Those are the ones in between. For example, entre norte y este. What is this one called? A la una, dos, tres. Noreste, noreste. Entre sur y este. What is this one? A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Sureste, sureste. Entre sur y oeste. Can you tell me what that is? A la una, a las dos, a las tres. Suroeste, suroeste. There's one more, entre norte y oeste. Do you remember what that one's called? A la una, a las dos, a las tres. noroeste. Noroeste, muy bien. Ahora pueden repasar otra vez los puntos cardinales e intermedios con este video. Pongan atención y repitan todos. Los puntos cardinales e intermedios. Norte, sur, este, oeste, noreste, sureste, suroeste, noroeste. Now, last class, I asked you this question. ¿Quién es nuestro vecino al sur? ¿Quién es nuestro vecino al sur? And we talked about, aquí están los Estados Unidos de América. So this is where we live, nuestro país. ¿Quién es nuestro vecino al sur? And we said, it's this one right here, se llama México. México es la respuesta. Hoy tengo otra pregunta nueva. ¿Quién es nuestro vecino al norte? ¿Quién es nuestro vecino al norte? Well, understanding the last question, we said nuestro vecino al sur. Now we're asking ¿quién es nuestro vecino al norte? Up into this direction, right up in here. Here we can look at the map. Does anybody know what the name of this country is? Does anybody know what the name of that country is? Es Canadá. Canadá. That's right. En español se dice Canadá. It sounds like the same as in English, except that you stress that last syllable. Okay. Now, does anyone know what the two most common languages are in Canada? What languages do they speak up there? Do you think they speak a lot of Spanish? Not really. They speak English and French. Now, there's a very common song sung in French that we're going to sing now, but we're going to sing it in Spanish. You might even know this song in French, or maybe even in English. In Spanish, it's called Fray Felipe, okay? And let's go ahead and go over it right now so that you guys will know the words, and then we'll sing it. It goes, Fray Felipe, Fray Felipe. And that means Brother Philip, Brother Philip. And it says, duerme usted, duerme usted. That means, are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? And then it says, toca la campana, toca la campana. That means, the bell is ringing, the bell is ringing. Din, din, don. Din, din, don. And that's the sound that a bell makes. Okay, now have you ever heard that song before? Maybe not in Spanish, but have you heard it in French or in English? I think when you hear the tune and everything, you'll probably recognize it pretty well. Let's go ahead and sing it right now, all together, where you're going to see the words. Let's sing it together. ¿Listos? Fray Felipe, Fray Felipe, duerme usted, duerme usted, toca la campana, din, din, don, din, din, don. Muy bien cantado. All right. And I bet you probably heard that song before, haven't you? Now, you know that our country is made up of a number of states joined together to form a union, a united group, a country. Well, Canada is made up of different areas too, but in Canada they aren't called states. En Canadá se llaman provincias y territorios. Okay? Now, both of these words are cognates. Can anyone guess how you would say them in English? Let's try. Provincias. You see this one? Provincias. Now, if you know the word in English, you should probably recognize it pretty easily in Spanish. Provincias in English are called provinces. Provinces. Have you heard of them? And the other word is territorios. Territorios. Okay? Territorios. And again, if you know this word in English, it'll help you recognize it in Spanish. In English, it's called a territory. You've probably heard of that before. So here's another case where your Spanish can help your English, and maybe your English will help your Spanish. They'll work together. Okay, now, I have a question for you that I've asked before. ¿Cuántos estados hay en los Estados Unidos de América? Do you remember that? I asked you how many states there are? ¿Cuántos estados hay en los Estados Unidos de América? And if you're not sure of this one, you can count the number of stars on the flag. Do you guys remember? Can you say it in Spanish? Muy bien. Hay 50. Hay 50. And that's how you say that number, 50. Okay, now I have a new question for you. ¿Cuántos territorios y provincias hay en Canadá? And you see, that's kind of like the question that I asked about English, about the United States. But instead of saying estados, I said territorios y provincias. So, ¿cuántos territorios y provincias hay en Canadá? Does anyone already know or want to make a guess at how many there are? Go ahead and guess. Okay, tell your teachers. Well, I tell you what, one way that we can know for sure is to count them. So let's go ahead and look now. Aquí hay un mapa de Canadá. Let's go ahead and count how many there are here. ¿Listos? Vamos a contar todos juntos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hay 12 provincias y territorios en Canadá. Muy bien, you guys are doing a great job. Well, I tell you what, that's pretty much what we're going to talk about today. So let's go ahead and take out our activity sheets for the day. You guys should have these ready. The first one is called Mapa y Bandera de Canadá. Mapa y Bandera de Canadá. And let's see. Voy a escribir mi nombre. R-O-B-E-R-T-O. Roberto. Now this is very much like our activity sheet from last time that we did with Mexico. We're going to go ahead and use a resource book to find the mountains and oceans of Canada, color the mountains brown and the oceans blue. Okay, you might need a little bit more work because there's some tricky stuff up around here. Okay. After you color the oceans blue and the mountains brown, color the rest of the land green. Then fill in the cardinal and intermediate directions. I'm going to get you started. Este es el norte. Norte. Está aquí. Norte. Now, go ahead and fill in the rest of these cardinal and intermediate directions around here. And once you've done that, come down here to the bottom of the page, and it says, color the flag of Canada, red and white, using a resource book to find the correct placement of the colors. So you can go ahead and find that. There are only two colors, they're red and white. And when you're looking up those colors for the flag, you might also want to find out what that shape is in the middle of the Canadian flag. Do you already know? See if you can find out if you don't. Now, on our second activity sheet today, we're going to be using the numbers to practice some of your basic math skills. And now we've done this before. You remember that when we added numbers, we said suma, suma. And that's add, right? And suma, this part sum right here, looks like sum, which is what you get when you add two numbers together. The sum, suma. Okay, and that's add. Well, suma comes from the verb to add, and in Spanish, the word to add is sumar. So you see that? We've added this letter down here at the bottom. The R, la R, turns this into the infinitive, and that's the to form, to add. And the infinitive of any verb in English has to in front of it. To run, to walk, to eat, to talk, any of those. That's the infinitive. In Spanish, instead of saying to over here on this side, they just put an R right down here at this side. Okay? So you say suma, sumar. Well, adding, when we say the verb with an ing ending, we can do that in Spanish too. We say sumando, sumando. So by putting this ending down here, the A-N-D-O, that's like putting ing onto the end of a word. So this comes sumando is adding. Okay, and remember that comes from the base sum, which is like sum in English. Well, when you're subtracting, it's called resta. Resta, okay? And now if you look at this word, resta, you see this first part of it? Rest. When you take something away, what you have is the rest. That's the rest of what you have. Resta, it comes from the verb to subtract. And remember how we got the infinitive for adding? We added the R. Resta becomes restar. And you see, we put that R on there again. Restar. And if we wanted to say subtracting, do you think you can figure out how we do that? Do you remember how we did it for adding? Restar would become restando. Restando. That's subtracting. And that leads us right into our activity sheet for today. It's called Restando Números. Okay? Go ahead and write your name up at the top. Roberto. If your name's Roberto, you can write that. Now, here we are. Resta. Subtract. Complete the subtraction problem below and say the problems and answers out loud in Spanish. 9 menos 6 son. Okay, well, we know that just by looking at it. How do we say that in English? Or in Spanish? Tres. And you remember when we added, we said más. Well, when we subtract, we say menos. And remember in our greetings, we said, ¿Cómo estás? And one of the answers was más o menos. Yeah, well, that's menos means less. And más means more. So when you answer that and you say más o menos, you're saying, more or less. Well, after you finish those, there's some down here at the bottom that I'd like you to read out loud in Spanish and also say the answer in Spanish. Okay, so that'll give you guys something to work on, review your math facts and your Spanish at the same time. Today, we talked about our neighbor to the north, Canada, and practiced subtraction. Next class, we're going to go over the colors. Pero ¿saben qué? Ya es hora de despedirnos. For our goodbye song today, I'd like to sing La Bamba. So I'm going to, and I'd like all of you to sing with me. Canten conmigo. Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba, si necesita una poca de gracia, una poca de gracia, pa' ti, pa' mí, ahí arriba y arriba, ahí arriba y arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Bamba, 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 bamba. Yo no soy marinero, yo no soy marinero, soy capitán Soy capitán, soy capitán. Bamba, bamba. Bamba, bamba. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up with your practice. Until next class, adios y hasta luego.